sharpshooter. What Steve is teaching you is to be a sharpshooter for now. For now. Why is this so critical? Most companies, when they say they want to hire a couple of sales people, what they're looking for is, it could be they're looking for someone just doing the outbound, which is stupid, because when you do the outbound, and I'll go into a little bit in role play and all that, you'll see it in maybe more later into next class. But they want someone to be able to do that, or they want someone to be able to, because they hire salespeople. They think all salespeople are the same. Well, you can take the inbound call, you can do outbound, you can then also be able to follow up with leads. That is very, very ineffective. It is like someone who is like trying to do all these things it's like playing basketball, right? Basketball, a typical basketball team has how many people? 5, right? This is like, okay, one person, you can do all 5 things. You're going to dunk, you're going to pass, you're going to dribble, you're going to shoot, you're going to do all that stuff. One person doing all of that. No. This structure allows the breachers, all they do is outbound lead generation. Marksmen, all they do is qualify the inbound leads before set up the call for the sharpshooters. This is why the sharpshooters, right? Marksman is the support, right? Helps the sharpshooters. The sharpshooters, think about a sniper, right? You're aiming, one call, one close, one shot, one kill. And then for those who you can't close, you don't need to worry about it, because those leads are getting passed to the strikers. Strikers, all they do is nurture the qualified leads who they can close. And what happens is, every single personality type depends on your background. Some of you will be phenomenal as sharpshooters. Some of you won't be so good as sharpshooters, but you will make an excellent breacher. You're just like, if you set fire all day, you're doing that, and you're setting up the call. And you can actually make more money than a sharpshooter, just all day. And strikers, following up, adding more value. That's all you do, right? Picking up the money that other people can't pick up. And I'll show you the numbers. So let's go through each one of these first, okay? Is this profound so far? And you think closing is a one-person thing? It's not a one-person thing. It's always a team. It's always a team. So, Joe, who are breachers?
So the breachers, we call them in the SWAT team. And you think of SWAT, it's like the police elite force, right? SWAT's like the highest level, the most, they do close combat, they do close quarters combat, they use special weapons. So that's really the elite of the police force. And that's kind of how we got that name SWAT. So when we say breachers or SDRs, sales development reps, by the way, we also have a B2B structure, which is similar, but not exactly the same. But for tonight, we're talking about the B2C, so we call them breachers. They perform outbound activities to set qualified appointments. And Sifu already mentioned the strikers, right? Or we can also call them account managers, the AMs, right? In the B2B sense. They work with unqualified leads, and then they also, not only that, they connect with existing clients to nurture future opportunities. I just want to spend a bit of time on this slide because it's really important. What Sifu just pointed out, one of the issues that we found in the past when we did not have the SWAT team was the fact that leads that came in, I always give this example, right? So, in Discord, you can comment below. When we talk about sharpshooters closing, let's say you get 5 to 8 book calls a day, right? Let's say you take 5 to 8 book calls a day. Do you always close every single one of those calls? Do you always close 5 out of 5, 8 out of 8 every single day? No, right? It's just not realistic. The issue we had in the past was when that happened, let's say we closed 3 and there were 5 that were not closed. Those 5s just basically, it disappeared. It went into a black hole. No one contacted them. No one talked. No one reached out to them. It was basically almost like a waste of leads, a waste of ad spend. So the SWAT team plays an integral role because they actually come back and say, you know what? Hey, this is, you did not upgrade or you did not buy X, Y, and Z, but here's another, could be a downsell, could be another offer of value. Here's a free gift for you. You know what? You can maybe learn from Sifu Dan from this way instead, right? They cannot offer that. So this is really key. Then we can move to the next slide. Yes, the snipers. So snipers, it's also, you look at the graphic, it's nice because it shows you like the military style, right? You've got military, think of army snipers, right? Camping on hills or potentially even in big trees, right? It's cool because it's like a play of words. This is like the elite of the military, right? So we talk about the marksman, also known as marketing response reps in the B2B world, MRRs. So if you hear the term MRRs, that refers to marksmen. We call them internally in B2C. So the best example to give is, let's say an influencer or a business owner has a funnel, right, that maybe has an opt-in page, a landing page that someone has to put their name and email address and phone number in, right? If they want to access a website or access a webinar or access a free gift, they need to put in their information. These marksmen, these MRRs, will reach out to them because they were generated through these website or these marketing activities. So that's how you qualify those inbound leads. Now, a sharpshooter is exactly what Sifu talked about, account executives, right, in the B2B world. They are the high-ticket closers, the HTC, what we're learning, inbound closing, inbound sales. So then they close sales set by SDRs, account managers, and the MRRs. All right, we got the next.
So let me just explain for a moment, okay? Why this is so profound. So if, let's say, when you are working with a business account and you're the sharpshooter, you could only, your skill at right now, after you graduate, you only have the ability to close inbound lead, which is great. Inbound lead, people book a time with you. Let's say on average, you would get a 30-40% no-show. So you have eight book phone call, half of those won't show. So half of your time is wasted. Versus this setup, someone comes in, you don't, as a sharpshooter, you don't talk to that person first. You have the marksman who call this person usually within how long?
The marksman, Sifu?
Yep.
Well, we strive to call them within 5 minutes of their application.
So instead of them booking a call 3, 4, 5 days later, no, marksman call them, we get notification, call them within 5 minutes to qualify them within 5, very short. The call will be very short to set up that call to make sure that they are serious. So by the time the sharpshooters get on the phone, they know this person has been qualified. We get the leads while they're hot. For the ones who don't close, then pass on the strikers, they can nurture and follow up. And then at the same time, the breachers are going out there, breaching down the door, any of these leads that have not responded, but they're out there bringing in the leads. They're going out there. So think about when we bring in our team, not as an individual hobby closer, we are saying, I don't care what they're doing. I don't care how much, I don't care if they're doing $20, $30 million. I know we come in, they are at least leaving 80, 90% of money on the table, because I could ask them a few questions. So what are you doing with the leads that you're not closing? 9 out of 10 is saying nothing. So no one's following up with them. No one. Okay. What about those inbound leads that are coming in? What do you do? Well, they book a time with our people. Okay. So that period of time, how much people are you losing who book, who don't show? Oh, that's all 50%, 40%. Okay. All right. And are you doing any outbound? Well, we do some, but not super good. We try to call people and try to close on the spot, which is a big mistake. I'll get into why. It should be strictly for lead generation. So look at those. I'm like, okay, you're doing 30, 40 million, whatever it is. Bring in our closing team. I can double, triple your fucking revenue without costing $1. Because I know you have a lot of waste within your system. I know because that's what we had. You're getting a fraction of the results that you should be getting. We could bring in our team with our training, with our systems to plug that in. This is why Desmond said, we are not in the outsourcing business. We're in the scale business. We're here to scale your revenue. That's the difference. There's a big difference. We're not some fucking small salespeople that you outsource. Go find somebody else. We're here to scale business. That's our real business. That's what we do. So think about this. Marksmen, sharpshooters, and for Sapphire, you might be phenomenal as breachers. And by the way, so let's go back very quickly. Out of all these 4, which one you think makes the most money? Breachers, strikers, marksmen, sharpshooters. Joe, out of those four, which one makes the most money in terms of commission?
In terms of commission, way definitely SWAT team, way higher. We're talking
Way
about
higher.
like
Why? Because they did a fucking dangerous work. They're out there breaching the door. They're the one that's like converting leads who cannot be converted. They're more proactive. They make way more money, but also it requires more skills. Does that make sense? It requires more skills. They're disarming the bombs. They're overcoming objections. They're getting through the gatekeepers. They should make more money out of everybody else, right? Because of more skill set. And then we use HubSpot for a lot of these things that we do. Maybe share just maybe 1 minute about like HubSpot, why we use HubSpot for ourselves internally. Again, I'm not telling you this is what you should do. I'm just teaching you this is what we do. Okay. Why HubSpot is so powerful for us. Give us a 1 minute version.
Yep. So HubSpot, the big thing about HubSpot, which we lacked before, is the clarity on how contacts or prospects or leads enter our ecosystem and what stages they progress through, right? With HubSpot, we can clearly see this lead landed on, for example, a Facebook ad. This lead filled in an application form. This lead clicked on this YouTube video. This lead is now in this stage. It's now, being contacted by a breacher, for example. It shows that extremely clearly.
I don't think my mentees are getting it. Okay, let me explain. Before, let's say you as an inbound, you get a call, you talk to them, you ask questions, you find information, right? With HubSpot, what we use, and we spend how much money? 6-figure.
Yeah,
on HubSpot, okay?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Imagine you talk to someone who books a call with you. You already know, okay, this particular person has opened up 3 emails that we have. They have downloaded this PDF. They have watched 3 minutes of this video. So when you talk to them, you already know how much information they have consumed. You know how long they have been in the list. You know all the activities that they have done. Would that give you an edge, you think, when you're closing? You would know, oh, so how do you like the PDF? What have you learned?
It even shows the Sifu how far along the email they read or how much of the PDF they actually opened.
Yeah, we know. Not just they opened it. No, we know how far they have read 10 pages. They have read 5 pages. We know all of that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yep. Yes. In case you're wondering, privacy is dead. This is how closing is done. Not at amateur level, at a professional level, because I want to equip you with all the data that you need for you to maximize your income. Why would I give you a lousy fucking knife? I want to give you a machine gun. I want to give you a tank. I want to give you a helicopter, right? I want to give you like a battleship, RPG. Who wants to go fight with a little army knife? Right?
Sifu, I think we've got like a drone now, like a special specialized
100%.
drone. Because
like,
there's something I want to quickly share that's I think really, really cool. So we have in the sales team, there's a new term, recently new, we call it an HHO, right? It stands for a hot handover. This is what we never had in the past where, okay, because, comment below, right? You can, what I'm talking about. If there are prospects, there are people who want to buy on the spot. They just want to get in. We call them hand raisers. HubSpot calls them hand raisers, correct? Mm-hmm. And what we did not have in the past was everyone had to wait a certain amount of days to book a call and wait for someone to reach out. Now, and this is what's better for everyone.
Getting cold.
Yeah. Right? And this is why the breachers and the marksmen, they love the HHO model, especially the sharpshooters, because now when they reach out and this person is ready to go in the same day, in the same hour, the breacher just goes, hey, team, I've got an HHO. Who can take the call right now? Boom, it gets transferred over. Boom, it gets closed. Everyone makes money. The prospect is happy, and everyone wins.
And can you see how this is much more sophisticated approach? So when we talk to a business owner, I don't care, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 million revenue. Doesn't matter. I show them what we do. They're like, holy fuck. I don't care. Because I know I will find new money for them. And we're bringing on our team. My best students go in there. And we help them double, triple their revenue. We get a percentage of that. and we share the pot. It's a very simple business model. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Help them make more money, and we help some, and we get some of that. That's the entire business model. And then we celebrate. It closes in black. Incredibly simple model. Really. Right? We don't have time to go into all the HubSpot. I mean, there's a whole different thing on its own. Okay. I just want to show you that this is some of these things that we do, not all, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I know you're already overwhelmed. It's not how much you learn, it's how fast you can implement it. It's not how much you learn, it's how fast you can implement it. So I want to share a few pretty amazing stories with you, right? And I'll let Joe lead the way.
All right. I'm super, super proud and honored to bring on the first of two tonight, Christy Hinkson. Now, before Christy comes on, I can see she's unmuted here. I just want to kind of share, my impressions of Christy when I first met her versus where she is now. Now, let me start with where she is now, actually. Today, as we speak, Christy is the sales manager of not just one product within Sifu's team, our organization. She's the sales manager of 2 products, right? And she's leading a team of 30, Christy, about 35 to 40 closers, right? So, but from where she came from, you can actually see on the screen, I'm going to actually let Christy speak. She actually came from a place of a lot of lower sales. And I think it's a lot of like where we all came from, right? We all started there, but I'm going to let Christy share her story. You just seen the transformation from, this is January 2019, exactly a year ago where she was, to today being in Team Danlog. If this is not inspiring, I don't know what else is. So Christy, mic's yours.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Sifu, for letting me also be here and share my story. It's great to be here. And I started out like a lot of you that, I'm from season 8, and I came in looking for a way to just make a lot of money. I was working at a law firm as a paralegal. I did that full time. And, I thought, at first, oh, okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do. Okay, this is great. But then I noticed, before I signed up, the days that went by, I'm like, this really can't be what it is, right?
And Christy, do you mind sharing with us, if you don't mind, right? How much do you used to make at your law firm, working 40 hours a week or more?
I used to make about, what was it, like 15 to 1700 a month.
That's working 40 hours a week, right? 4 weeks a month. It's only 15 to 1700. Okay.
Couple K a month.
Yep. And I was barely scraping by, and I had 2 jobs as well. So it was actually funny when I did HTC, I had 2 jobs too. So when I first started with HTC, a lot of it came down to, I just wasn't also fulfilled in life. Like, I had my dream job. I had what I went to school for, and it was just not enough. I mean, I still even had to get a second job to pay the bills. It was not exactly what I thought it was going to be. And so when I came across Sifu first, through YouTube, I have to say I was that person that I didn't even understand the concept of even the wealth triangle, let alone the high income skill. When I went through the webinar, I had to go through it like twice to understand what just happened, and I still didn't understand, so I had to Google it. Once I did, and for a while, I had probably the same excuse most of you did at first of, oh, I don't have the money. I actually remember saying that if I had $3,000, I wouldn't need your help. And then thinking back, I'm like, no, I still would have needed your help. So when I went ahead and, I was thinking about it, and I was like, no. I mean, and then it kicked in. I don't know what it was, because I never got onto the phone with the closer, but I don't know what it was, but the moment just snapped, where I was like, wait, I have $50,000 in student loan debt for a degree that brought me to this point that I still have to pay the $50,000 back. but yet I won't spend $3,000 for something that has the potential to make me six figures. That's stupid. Like, that was literally what I was thinking. And the only thing is I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get there? I only have like $300 to $500 saved. And that was over like 3 years time because of how much bills I had. And I went ahead and actually became resourceful and contacted my bank, knowing that I was like, okay, this might be a long shot, but you know, I had them for a while, maybe they'll increase it. And within 30 minutes, I got that email saying, yep, you're approved, and signed up instantly. I was like, I'm not I'm not waiting, I'm just going on in. So I go on in, and you know, after I go in, the first thing I thought of was like, oh crap, now I got to tell my mom, because I lived with my mom. And I remember when I told her originally about Sifu and everything, she was the traditional, you know, oh, well, it's probably a scam.
You're being kind. Your mom
yeah.
was very, you're being kind, right?
Yeah.
She did not like me. She was very
No.
cynical, very
Yeah.
skeptical, right?
Yes. Very
Um,
skeptical.
very negative, right?
Yes. She was the biggest crab in my life, and I knew that. I mean, I didn't even tell her when I joined. Like, week 3 is when I told her, and the only reason I told her is because I knew that if this was going to be my lifestyle, and this is exactly what I was going to do, I couldn't hide it, because it's eventually going to take over everything, and then it looks weird. So I was like, I gotta tell her. So I mean, but to back up a little bit, I saw in week 1 and week 2, you know, with my mom and my younger sister fighting, and you know, going through like all these lower self moments, and the fact that when I first came in to HCC, I had pretty bad depression and anxiety as well.
This is
Like,
the
that
next
was,
slide, right, Christy? I believe. Yeah, this
yeah,
slide, right? Mm-hmm.
that I had pretty bad depression. By the point of the post, I felt actually, you know, much better, but I was still struggling with it because nobody really told me how that was. But during first 2 weeks, like, I was blown away. Like, I literally, everybody I said, I was like, Sifu is literally, like, I've been in and out of counseling since 2007, and just these 2 weeks answered the question no other psychiatrist could even answer, which baffled me. And now I want to ask them for a refund, but I can't do that. So when I came in and I realized what that was, I actually had an action plan besides just learning this high income skill. So along the way, I'm learning this high income skill. I'm actually practicing against my mom. And if we can go back to the prior slide, on the right is actually the story that I originally talked to my mom, that when I found out that, you know, like, I remember I went to theyunlock.com and I found you could actually apply there. Like, I remember seeing the website, and I'm like, yeah, but they'll probably want me to move to Vancouver. My mom's going to murder me. And so I went ahead, and I had to figure out a way that I had to, like, ease my mom into it. And basically, I went to her and I was like, you know, this is what I want to do. This is how it has to get done. Let the objections flow. Like, that's pretty much. I was like, that's it. That's all I can do at this point. Because my mom's very emerald. Emerald is my weak point when I talk to them. So I knew dealing with her was going to be a very hard time. But there was a lot of different things that were going on in the conversation. And when I kept saying that, you know, hey, mom, you know, you always told me to run where the money is. I am. Do you not want me to listen to what you told me? And she was like, well, like I has in the post, it's like, well, if you can make 100K and you can stay here, why would you leave? And I was like, okay, well, suppose I was to make 200 to 300K per year working with Dan Locke. Would you really want me to stay here and hold me back from that? She had nothing else to say but, no, I guess that would be crazy to tell you not to go. And the minute that that happened, I automatically heard Sifo going, I'm proud of you.
I am proud of you.
And
You did it.
And Christy, can I quickly chime in here? I think this is important for everyone to sort of know. I want to emphasize the point here is that even at this time, guys, Christy was not I'm super proud of her for setting her intentions. Like she declared it publicly. The whole world knew her plans. But at that time, she wasn't ready for this at all. She was never going to be ready.
No. And by the way, all this you could search back in this Facebook group. If you want to see Chris's journey in the beginning, she would be the last person you would think but I saw something in her very early on though. I could tell you this, because she had that fire and that burn the ship kind of mentality. And although, I mean, Christy shared with us during the 7 weeks, was it easy selling for you, or was it a lot of ups and downs?
There was a lot of ups and downs. There was actually a point, Joel and Sifu, you actually don't know this. There was a point I almost quit Rising Stars on my own accord. And the main reason was, like, I remember when, I was in class and you're like, you have to let the old you burn before the new one can actually be reborn and to have a brand new. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm putting this away. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this. What else is it? Now, I know I made also a post about this that, I do like My Little Pony, and I know that was one thing that I was like, that's the only thing left I have yet to destroy. But to me, it was more of an ethical thing of what they taught me, which made me even get to the point that I was, that then got me very conflicted, because that's not exactly something you go and just share to everybody. That, hey, I like this anime cartoon, and, and know it's okay. And which actually, goes a little bit with what we were talking about, what we're going to be talking about today is about, with social media and stuff like that. And I'm like, should I hide it? Should I not? Should I burn this? But it was such of a struggle that I literally cried over it because of how bad of a struggle that was. And I realized that after talking to a few brothers and sisters, they're like, well, do you think that, Sifu minds dressing up like Batman and showing off Iron Man? I was like, but this is kid stuff. That was my thing. And I realized that it is a part of me. I mean, there's appropriate places and not appropriate places to use it, obviously. But at the same time, that it's not a part of me that has to necessarily die. It's just a part that has to be used appropriately. And I always did use it appropriately, but it was like that struggle, like, what's that extra step I got to do to be the better version of myself? And I was thinking, do I really have to part with this? So I know that's something that a lot of people will be facing is, this one passionate thing I'm for, do I really have to get rid of it? And, in most cases, there's a good possibility it's a no, depending on what it is. And that's what I found out.
And in terms of results, Christy, right? We can share with everyone. Like when you first joined Rising Stars, at first, this is a great boom, by the way. This is huge. But when you first joined Rising Stars, like you were not getting results.
I sucked.
Right? You were not getting anything.
So think about it, Christy. So first, during the course, ups and downs, lower self, a lot of negative pull her back to her old self. How many of you experienced that even during your journey, right? Afterwards, closing, but not getting booms, struggling to close, right? Not getting results, still struggling. And then what happened?
And really key, Chrissy, can you share about the transition, your mindset, how you went from sniper to SWAT? I think that's so key that we all need to learn that.
Yeah, that for the longest time, I think on the highest, I maybe made like $700, almost $800, but mostly it was either
I'm curious, Christy, when you told your mom you make $700, what, like the first couple of sales, what did she say?
Oh, okay.
Just the first couple of sales, what did she say?
That's it. Oh, okay. Congratulations. I mean, it's only part-time, right? Like it was really just that. Like it's like, oh, okay.
Try to downplay it, right?
Yeah, she's just like, okay, but you're still working, right? Like I'm just like, oh, Mom, this is not what I expected, but okay.
By the way, it was same thing what happened to you, right? You're listening to Chris's story. Same thing from your family. You get the same treatment. All like shit. That's what happens, right? And then what happens?
Well, I actually, we ended up making a game out of it since I came back from CIB and I have the boom button. Every time I get a boom, I go upstairs, hit it, and run. Just because. And then we just both laugh, and then I tell her what happened. Just to try to get her more involved.
Yes.
So that's also helped. But yeah, after time of trying again and again and again, and asking several people, talking to the top closers, listening to the role plays, doing the classes over again, like going through all of this, it just wasn't sticking. And I was in fear. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose the spot I worked so hard to get to.
Yeah, we were about to remove you for like a result.
I felt it. Yeah. Yeah. I felt it. I'm like, I gotta do something. And so when the new structure was coming about and Joel was, talking about the breachers and the strikers and the sharpshooters and what they all do and the marksmen. And I just knew, I said this immediately, as soon as he got done, going over all of them to make sure I didn't miss anything. I was like, Joel Umber Breacher. Like that was like, I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't have to think about it overnight. I just knew. And I also knew sharpshooter wasn't working. I knew that too. So then when we actually went ahead and shifted over, I will have to say, when I was getting on those calls, I was scared. Like I always didn't care for outbound. I was always like customer service, so everything was inbound. If we called outbound, they were expecting us. So I was actually really scared. I didn't know what I was going to do. This is actually also the same time that Joel challenged me to also be just a leader as well, and to do breaching at the same time. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I'm closing part-time, being a leader part-time, and still working full-time. And I remember that there was a strict deadline that it's like, okay, you had to get like 3 BAMs, 3 appointments in this short time. I had about like a week left, right? So the first 2 days, business is normal. But then I'm getting to the last 3 days of all of it. And I was like, okay, I have to do this. So I went ahead and I stayed and worked up many hours. And then when it was 48 hours left, I actually called off work and plugged away at the phones all day. That's all I did. I didn't care. That was all I did. I had one objective. And then I got my second one. And I'm like, okay, great. I need one more in 24 hours. So I'm freaking out because I'm like, there's no way I could work full time, do this part time, and guarantee that I have an appointment. There's just no way. So I called off again. And again, I plugged away at the phone. And the whole time I'm actually in a co-working space because my mom didn't know I called off work 2 days to do this. And as I was doing it, something really just clicked. That moment that every closer tells you about, the moment that they all find their identity, their closer identity, this is mine. That I was able to go call the phones, and I made a different version of outbound calling for myself. And I tell this to even my closers, that I made it that either I'm laughing at the end of this call or they're laughing at the end of this call, but I'm not getting off that phone until somebody giggles. And that made me feel less scared. Like, as silly as it is, it made me feel less scared, which then made me more relaxed and actually made it where one of my BAMs was there 2 o'clock in the morning. And it actually converted at the same time. So that was really my moment that I was like, holy crap, this is what I was supposed to do. That's why that wasn't working. That's not what I was supposed to do. This is what I was supposed to do.
And then share with us about the $9,912 in commissions.
Yes. So after this was all said and done, about a week later, Joel comes up to me and says, Christy, I have this wonderful opportunity for you. There's just one problem. And I was like,
I gave you a really big problem, a really big challenge.
Yeah, you gave me a really big challenge. That you said, I have this amazing opportunity for you. I think you'll do really well at it. But you can't work at your job and do it at the same time, because you can't, be a leader, do this opportunity, and at the same time work a full-time job. It just won't work. It's impossible. So you need to make the decision to either quit your job and to do this. Now, he obviously did it in a more closer fashion, but
it was pretty direct. It was pretty direct.
It was pretty direct. It was
quit
pretty
your
direct.
job and don't get this opportunity.
That was pretty much it. And I was just like, can I think about it? Like, because it was a really big thing to drop one. I knew it was going to happen eventually, but the one thing I kept thinking of is my past results do not support quitting a job yet. It doesn't support, it supports them growing, but it doesn't support, I just stopped. So I was thinking about it. I was having a lot of anxiety. Oddly enough, no depression, just anxiety. And I was, talking to people, and I was not sure. And I was just like not fully there. And then I remember that I was doing other things. So then I forgot about it for a minute. And then our next meeting came up. Joel's like, okay, so what's your decision? I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I had a decision to make. And I just said, yes, I'm going to go ahead and quit my job. And he was like, okay, when are you going to get this done? I was like, well, give me 3 weeks. He's like, why 3 weeks? And I was like, 1, to give my job 2-week notice, and another week in case I hesitate. But I'm going to get it done in 3 weeks. So I actually did it the next day, and because I did not want to leave as much days as possible. But I did it the next day, handed in my resignation, and here is the amazingly weird part. I got instantly sick. And I mean, like, as soon as I hit send on that email, like, I was doubled over in pain. I felt like I was going to throw up. I was sick to my stomach, right? It was hard to move. I was like in a fetal position, actually. And I just was like, oh my God, I did that. I just did that. And I didn't know really what else to do. And my nearest friend at the law firm, I went and I told her exactly what I did. And she gave me a hug and she said, it's about time you get the hell out of here. And I'm like, I thought we were friends. What the hell are you talking about? And she said to me, she's like, no, you've been saying that you were wanting to do this. You keep telling us you're going to leave. You keep telling us you're going to leave and get to this point, but we see you have more potential. You need to leave. And instantly, all of my pain, all of my stomach pains, gone. Right after that point. And after that, I went all in, and I actually rented out the co-working space every single month to get this done. And long and behold, what was it, less than a month later, I even doubled my income. And then by the time of this post, I basically quadrupled.
five your income.
Yeah, 5 times my income
in about 2 weeks, right? 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it was only about 3 weeks, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And I told my mom this. She goes, now can you sustain it? And I was like, oh God. Thanks, Mom.
At first, a few $100. Oh, it's nothing. Now it's 5 times more. Right? You talk about the buckets of crap. Oh, but yeah, I know it's a lot, but can you sustain it though?
Yeah, and then I remember, I think it was the next month I got similar in commission, and I told her the same thing. I did it again, and she goes, you're not quitting though, right? Like, I didn't tell her I quit my job yet. And I told her, I was just like, well, why do you say that? I already showed I can, do it. And she goes, well, for the benefits. I'm like, really? That's what you're grabbing onto? I can get my own benefits. Um, so, I mean, that's been a crazy ride. And also, um, ironically, since I actually work more and I will say as a sales manager, it's a little bit more stressful. Actually have
Just
not
a little
needed.
bit, Christy, a little bit.
Well, Joel, you know, working with you is not easy, but it's definitely rewarding. I will say that it's definitely rewarding. And I will say that, since I quit my job and actually went full time and work with Joel and the amazing team, I actually do not need my antidepressants since I quit. So I actually have not taken them since then. I've let my doctor know. I was like, you don't need to give me these. I'm good. I actually kept forgetting to take it because I was fine. That's how that happened, and so they're happy as well.
So listening to Chrissy's story, how many of you could tell, like just the way that Chrissy shares her story, articulates her story, you would not think even for a second that she had depressions, that she had to go through a lot lower self. You might think, oh, well, Chrissy's just cool and she's confident. No way you could tell, right?
Watch the old video.
Yeah, watch the old video. You watch the old video yourself, right? I think you will find it more inspiring. And think about from $1,500, $1,700 to be able to generate this kind of income in less than a year. You want to talk about life changing. Now, I'm not saying that you will generate that kind of income. There's no promises. It's up to you. It's the same skill set. What I'm sharing with you is the journey, what Chrissy's gone through. What have you learned from her story? Put in the chat. Is it always going to be a smooth sailing? Is your family always going to be supportive?
Sifu, I remember I even asked you in a live dinner with Sifu, like, what should I do when my mom is no longer supportive? And I remember you just posted that one video, and I was like, I thought that's what you would say. I was hoping it would be something else.
That's right. And now Christy is the sales manager who manages both the HTC and also HIC, the High Income Cooperator program that we have.
Correct. Not only that, Sifu, maybe Christy, you should share this, or you could be a surprise, but you're finally leaving where you are right now. You're finally leaving your environment, right?
Yes, I'm actually when it's gonna be a little while because my mom does need surgery, minor surgery, so I want to make sure I'm here for that. But once that's all done, I will actually be moving out to Washington, and that's expected to be done within 3 months.
An hour and a half from Sifu and the team.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you in the office. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Awesome.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. A round of applause for Christy. What a story. What a story. Now, here's another story that's a little bit different, but I think it's a different perspective, also extremely inspiring as well. So, Felix, are you here?
Yes, Sifu, I'm here.
Okay, so Felix, share with us what's life like before HTC.
All right. So my life before HTC, I was an introvert. So I studied computer science, going the normal traditional route, studying computer science, graduated a bachelor, and I went straight into a startup company, just doing programming, thinking that was the path I'm gonna go on. I think for the longest time, I was really looking for that sweet spot that I was like, programming is not really for me. Like, I'm not really as good as other programmers, but where can I stand? Like, where can I stand in the company? And I always find that spot that I want to be at. But, because of the environment, because of a company that's so restricted for me, I'm always striving hard to do the best of I can, but I just couldn't get to somewhere I go. So I was just working hard, like 4 years, same company. I got a few promotions, but my salary just doesn't go up that much, like 3% every year, a little bit, just a little bit, tiny little bit. Don't even dare to ask for more because I just felt like the company owe me something. The company really owe me something. I try a lot, but then something really hit me hard is when my mom was diagnosed cancer and she passed away on 2017, and that was when I knew that okay, I can't stay in that state of me wanting to do something else but rely on somebody to determine the destiny for me. Right? I was waiting for something to happen, but if I don't really do anything, it just won't happen. So like half a year later, after my mom passed away, I got fired from the company too. That's another motivation where I'm like, all right, I guess that's could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing, because that is when I was like, I have nothing. Like I just lost someone who is significant to me, and I also lost my pure income stream for myself. I'm like start from ground zero. So I know I knew I need to do something else. I told myself I could not go back to a job and be in the same story again. So I come across Seafood Dan, I would say a couple months before I got laid off. And at that time, I still kind of like, it doesn't click. It's just like, oh, it's just another program. It's just another course. And I watched the webinar that Seafood Dan has after I got laid off. Actually, I have a month of depression. I think I'm depressed because I'm literally staying home. Like, as you can see in the slides, like that is like on the right side. That was my quote unquote office. That was where I was at. And that was my computer. I would just stay in that office for like 3 straight weeks and lock myself there for like 3 straight weeks. I was just playing games. I just tried to basically ignore the fact that I lost my job, ignore the fact that I lost my mom. And I was just like, okay, I don't know where I was, to be honest. I was so lost. And then I just rewatched the webinar and I was like, okay, this is the time. This is the time that I need to just do something. And at that time, my identity, like when it comes to identity, really, I was like, was spending like 2,000, like three, like, because I live in Canada as well, it's almost like over $3,000 on a program, online program that is like it's mind blowing. It's just something that is unheard of for me. It's totally something that is. But somehow I know Seafood like just speak into my heart every time when you speak. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a leap of faith in that and just go all in, right? So that is really when my journey started from there. And I didn't know. I have no destination of what that's gonna look like for me. I just know that I need something new, like entirely different in a job, which the high income skills, all the concepts, philosophy, all that makes so much sense to me. And going to the slides, really, before that, Joel probably didn't know about it. Nobody know about that in HTC, that I'm actually involved in the MLM group. And that was right after I, my mom passed away. One of my quote unquote close friend reached out to me and go for me for a chat. And for anyone got into like a MLM chat, it's like a similar tactics, right? They would go in, like have a long chat with you, and all of a sudden they would say like, oh, I have this mentor, do you know blah 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 blah. But then, okay, I just wanted something else at that time because I was lost anyway. So, okay, let's start something else, right? Let's try it. I didn't even know what MLM is at that time. I was just so stupid. I was so naive. But anyways, fast forward, I joined the MLM, not knowing that it's an MLM, just thinking that it's just another those kind of like self-improvement environment where I can just get a coach mentor to guide me to somewhere. But knowing that after a year, I joined the group, I know that, okay, this mentor is not someone I'm not really learning from him. And there's so much restrictions and all these limitations that what I can do within that. And because that group was the group that really lift me up, because they have the family style where I can, you know, it gave me a lot of hope back after all these unfortunate things that happened to me. So after I graduated, this is the day, May 1st. This was, I believe that was the last week of my season of HTC. Something is telling me, it's really, it's kind of in the middle of transformation if I think back. Something is telling me that, okay, whatever that you're doing right now with this MLM group, you have to quit. Like, you can't just like stay in there because it's dragging you down. Like, it's preventing you to go to that destination you want to go. So I had this weekly meeting with my AG. Back then we have the AG group, right? My AG leader. I probably haven't cried for a long time. I literally burst into tears, and I was like, I like, even my AG leader doesn't know what happened. Like, I was just like, I told him, I still remember I told my AG, I'm like, hey Isaac, like today is just like, I really think that I need to make that decision. Like, I really know it. I really have to, but it's a really, really hard decision. I just don't want it. I'm a very pearl in my heart. Like, breaking relationship is like, it's like cutting skin. It's like cutting meat out of my heart. So I know that when I have to quit this MLM group, that means likely that I wouldn't have any like close relationship with them anymore. It just hurts. But I know it's the necessary steps for me to get to where I want to go. But yeah, I made decisions to do this, and I just want to emphasize also that it is really HTC that helped me find who I really want to be, and really forcing me to go to face these kind of weaknesses that I have, that I'm trying to always avoid and just stay comfortable. But now, because of all these learnings that I have, I just go like, all right, let's do it. Although I don't know how to, and you know, just do it. Because every single time when I have to do something new, it's always easier than I thought when I start executing it. It's like, oh, it's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. It's like role playing. I'm sure everybody can relate to this. It's like, when you're first role playing, because you haven't done it at all. Like, for me, I like sales is like, it's like an opposite of what I used to do.
For an introvert, right?
Yeah.
Now, Felix, after you graduated from HTC, you didn't start getting boom just like Christy. It wasn't. How long it took you to get your first boom?
Oh, it took me 6 months, half a year.
6 months. You're
Yes.
paying attention to this? 6 months. Didn't get the first boom, struggling, just like Christy, struggling. Wasn't even like during that 7 weeks, wasn't like getting it very quickly, role play. No, it was a struggle. It was difficult. Not so much different from you. And then what happened? What clicked? What was the turning point?
The turning point is really after CIB. I make a switch, because for the whole 6 months that I haven't made a boom, the only thing I was going after was my boom. I literally jump on every single opportunity that I can have. Just do whatever. Just try it, but something just doesn't resonate. Like, you feel like you're hustling a lot, but you're just not getting results. But that turning point is really, I was like, okay, instead of chasing after the boom, I'll just help Sifu on the HTC community, whatever way that I can, whatever that fit in. And I was like, okay, I know that if I contribute enough, then HTC community would go towards that direction faster because of my contribution, and result would just come onto my way because of my contribution. I just kind of know about it. That was the switch that I made, and I believe within a month I got my first boom.
Within 1 month. Sifu always creates opportunities. That's what I do. I love to create and bring opportunities to my students. That's what I'm good at, but only those who help themselves.
It's
Only
also
those who help themselves.
crazy Sifu, because Felix and Christy are not like a lot of people, like, because they were the ones who actually put in so much sweat equity, volunteered to help out with we had a CIT, the closing and training group. Felix literally volunteered and helped out with everything when it came to the internal sales team. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just wanted to add value and contribute. And I think that's really special, because like we just don't see that often, right? So when Felix did that, when Christy did that, it really caught our attention.
It's not like students come to me, graduates. Oh, Steve, I want to close for you. I'm going to close for you. I don't listen to what you say or watch what you do. Are you embodying the HT's philosophies of being go-giver? We look at all of that. And then what happens? Fast forward today.
Yeah, fast forward today. I have been being a sales manager for a little while now. I'm kind of switching different roles. Now I'm part of the leader of the closing training group, which Joe just mentioned, and really finding that inspiration for helping students to get into internal sales, which I think it would make a huge impact in HTC community as well.
So from Felix, from back then, losing the job, lose the income, but also the identity. Fast forward today, this is in December. How much you made that month? It's a little bit small. Do you remember the number?
If you add that two number up, it's just about 10K.
$10,000. $10,000. 1 month. 1 month. And how did you do that? By applying himself, by going all in. And you see now both from in the beginning, just finding his way, Christy finding her way, going through struggles, ups and downs, wasn't easy, wasn't smooth, providing value, applying themselves to now being in a really a leadership position within the closing team, managing, training, nurturing the closers. So what have you learned from Felix's story? Put in the chat. And it's exactly stories like that that motivates me to keep teaching. When I hear stories like that, is incredible. And I'm blessed that I'm able to do this. That if I could have that kind of impact in someone's life, within all thousands of my students' life, that I have an obligation. I do believe I have an obligation. It's my duty. Also my purpose to teach. And be able to hear these stories every day. I hear these stories every day. So I'm blessed. I'm grateful that I can do this. That I can make this my career. So, Felix, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Sifu.
So within the team, you hear Christy talks about BAM. BAM means like when we set up an appointment as it could be as a breacher, right? We would set an appointment. That's what it means. So when we close this out, we actually call it a boom, right? Joey, want to go through some of these quickly?
Yeah, really fast. I think the one thing I want to point out, congrats, Eric, by the way, well done. Eric is one of our newest closers, but he's quickly rising to the top. It just shows. But if you look at the process, look at the number of calls and emails. How much effort did Eric put in, right? 4 calls, 12 emails to get that appointment. And this is why the SWAT team make the most income. They get the highest percentages because they put in so much work. It's just fair. And I'm really proud of them for actually doing that and being so consistent, so persistent. So as you can see, when we say a boom, when we post a BAM post, we talk about how did they get qualified, right? Sifu teaches us, qualify for decision maker, time, needs, right, and money. So he shows about the urgency, decision maker. And if you look at the bottom part of the right picture, probability of closing by sharpshooter, 10 out of 10. If you were a sharpshooter, how would you feel about that if you saw that? Right? If you were a sharpshooter and you saw a 10 out of 10, right? You would, I would love to be here all day. I could do this all day, every single day with a team like that. That's why the team is so important.
One more story.
There we go. Peter and Sam. And Sam, by the way, Sam's phenomenal. He's one of the most consistent sharpshooters in our team. Sam's been with us. Sam came through Rising Stars. And if you don't know what Rising Stars was, that was
all right, Sam.
Yeah.
I saw Sam commenting earlier.
Yep, he's in the chat. He came through Rising Stars, went through Sifu's Closers, and now been with the SWAT and sniper team as a leader since the beginning. Very consistent sharpshooter. So you can see Peter. This is the HHO I was telling you guys about. Peter Schrank, well done. Hot handoff to Sam, right? And you can see Sam. Like you look at the time. That was 1 a.m. Pacific time. Sam is in Eastern time, so that was 4:30 a.m. for Sam. Sam's like he just works like literally 24/7. Doesn't matter what time he's there, right? It's funny if you see our Slack channel, Sam is there whenever. Doesn't matter. So that's 4 a.m. Sam's time. He's awake, ready to receive a hot handover, and boom, right? HIC, SWAT assigned, one call closed, paid in full. I'm not gonna read the rest, but you can see that's incredible.
By the way, could you see that unlike a lot of the fucking sales people, so-called trainer, we do what we teach. We walk the talk. Everything that Steve is teaching you is what we do. I show you that's what we do. Like how many of them could show you and take you behind the scenes besides talking about the techniques? How many of them running a team? How many of them show them this is what we do? This is how we do it. This is our process. What's working right now in the real world? That's the difference. And we're improving all the time. And one of the reasons why Sifu is so passionate about creating opportunities for you, it's the same thing that I wish someone gave me the opportunity when I was young, when I was getting started. And I had my mentor, but I still had to create a lot of those opportunities myself. Then if now I'm able to, that I have the ability, I have the skills, and I have the brand, that I have the resources to be able to do this, I could use my intelligence, my business acumen, my skill to create a much bigger pie, not just for myself, but for the people I care about, for the family, for you, for all my students. That I could do that. I don't need to worry about my little, so I can a little pie. I can create a much bigger pie and share the abundance and wealth, because there's so much out there. There's so much out there. You will not see this in any other organization. I can promise you that. I don't look at the resume. I don't look at any of that. I look at the drive. I look at the tenacity. I look at the skill. I look at how coachable you are. I don't care. I don't care where you came from. I don't care your background. I don't care your age. I don't care any of those things. Secret number 5. Now we are 4 hours, almost 30 minutes in. We're at secret number 5. How are you doing so far, by the way? How many of you are overwhelmed, but in an exciting, happy, joyful kind of way? Is class 6 powerful or what? Are you going to go back and listen to some of the different segments? Does that give you a better idea how we do what we do and why we do what we do? And how it's very unique. What you have is very unique. There's no place like HTC. There's no doubt. There's no place like HTC. It doesn't exist. If there's one, I would have joined. I would have joined myself. Because it doesn't exist, I created on my own. So how are you doing? Can we aim let's set a goal? You can wrap it up. Let's say we get a class down to 6 hours. I'll do my very best. We wrap it up in 6. Let's not go so crazy. You need rest too, right? But there's still quite a few things I want to share with you. Some pretty amazing things that are coming up, right? Do you need a break? You want to do a 3-minute break? Just a 3-minute break? Go to the bathroom, grab a glass of water? How's that? And then we come back, and then we keep going. Yes? All right, let's do a quick 3-minute break.
Wow, some amazing stories, some fantastic transformations. Christy, Felix, if you guys can hear me, phenomenal work. It's been amazing watching you guys grow into fantastic individuals, and we can't wait to see what you guys do within the Downlock organization and really to impact the world. You guys are doing phenomenal. And Joel, I'm curious, when you're looking for someone who's going to be in a management position, who's going to be a closer, who's really going to take up an important spot within Team Downlock, what are some key points you look for in a closer, and what can someone do to essentially start to build up their way if they see themselves in that role in the future?
Hey Vikas, yeah, I love that question actually. I think it's exactly what Sifu said, because I mean, to be frank, like if it was just all based on paper and merits and you know what you have on paper, like your degree, everything, I don't think any of us would be here today. I myself, I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't
right?
either.
I like Felix, Christy probably won't. They're probably not gonna be here either. But the thing that stood out the most when we saw Felix, Christy, even Sam, right, even Sean, even James, Jason. The thing that they had was just that, Sifu mentioned it already, that fire, that passion for just doing more. It's interesting because both Felix and Christy, I'm going to just share this. My personal opinion was back in the time, like I would never imagine them being where they are today. And it's not to offend them or anything like that. It's just they did not have, at that time, I did not think they had what it took. But the one thing that they had, which I respect and which got them so far, was just that, I don't even know what the word is. It's just more than grit. It's like that unrelentless, never giving up, like stubborn. It's like stubbornness. It's like being so stubborn that I'm just going to do it. I don't care what the hell you say. Like even if you tell me I'm shit, I'm bad, I suck, I'm still just going to do it anyways. Right. And I really respected that. So that was always something where I kept an eye out for. And when I saw like Christy progress, I was like, you know what? Let's give her another challenge. And she killed every single challenge. She just killed it. So they came to the point where here's your final challenge. Quit your job, come in full time, do this all in. She took that. And that's where and so that's exactly, it's like she didn't have the skills, but she learned it along the way. She didn't have the merits, but she got it along the way. And she got so much respect from not just myself, but I think the entire team and the students and the people around her. So it's just like stories like that, right? Where yeah, it's really inspiring. It inspires me when I think about them. It's like it blows my mind. It's from where they came from, where they are today. Just could never imagine that.
True determination and true grit. Now, Desmond, as the OG, one of the originals within Team Downlock, actually helping form and build the company, what are some things that you look out for? I'm really curious to know, since you are the original.
The OG.
That's a nice way of me calling you old.
Yeah, sure, young pup, right? You know, like you can teach this old dog some new tricks, right? Well, I think Joel summarized it really well. I definitely do remember Christy. I even remember Sifu Danlock, pointing out her video once to me, and I mean, I remember Joel. We were about to cut her from the.
Yeah.
I was telling
multiple
you, right?
Times, right? That's multiple times. Yeah.
We were like, but yeah, the thing about Christy and Christy, she was very persistent, the tenacity. As Sifu always says, sometimes it's not even the skills, it's that do they have the culture. So we're always looking for the people that have the culture, the hand raisers. Be careful though, sometimes we do see good intentions but wrong actions. So I think a lot of times was someone who's coachable, someone who is definitely a hand raiser. You can see Felix, right? So I interviewed Felix when he was applying for the HTM as well too. I remember he was pretty depressed. I think Felix can probably attest to this. I was giving him some pretty hard love. I said, you're a bit flaky, dude.
Yes,
you're not
yes,
gonna
you were
survive.
telling me he wasn't even that solid, right? He wasn't even.
I was like, I don't know, Joel. Be tough on him, man. He's flaky a bit. And then, but he proved us wrong. So I'm willing to eat my own words. He proved us wrong. Super fast at learning, super fast at being a goal giver. Very, and if his speed, like the amount of overtime hours he put in, very noticeable. So again, to summarize, what have we noticed, right? The pattern is not everyone. You don't have to come in with skills. It's many times, Sifu will say we hire for the passion, the culture. We train for the skills, right? Sifu will give opportunities, and those who want to rise to the top, you basically, you learn those skills. And I can see that both Felix, Kirsten, Sam as well too, and many of the other members, Sean, they all chime in. They, even on the business development team, you got people like Carla, you got Rich G, you've got Adam Naser. You'll see a lot of these faces and names. Ken Lewis, even Chris De La Pena, who's in Team Denlock. Very quiet, very introverted guy, to begin with, but he was one of the first few people that was able to bring in, business accounts, and he learned how to stay up late, and he gets things done whenever we needed to get done. So dependable is also another key thing. Someone who's dependable. So those are some of the things that I think I've noticed over time, and of course, just relentless, never stopping until they get results. Right. So all of us go through lower self. You can tell in all their stories, they all go through lower self, and they're quite open about it. They, not in a victim way, not everyone please feel sorry for me. It's more of a declaration, and then now that they publicly announce it, well, they have to prove it, right? So a lot of respect to them for that.
100%. All right, so now you've heard it from two of our absolute titans within Team Denlock. So is everyone awake? Is everyone ready to go? Because Sifu will be joining us in just a few seconds here, but I want to check, making sure everyone's with us, because Sifu could just end it now.
Right. That's right.
Sifu, it looks like they're awake and they're ready to go.
All right. Now, by the way, Sifu's not saying that you have to join, Sifu's team. In fact, most won't make it to Sifu's team anyway, just because our process is very, very strict. Only the best of best, talk about Navy SEAL, will make it to Sifu's team. But everything I teach you, you could go out there and make it happen and do it. I'm just sharing with you everything that I do, some of the best, some practices here, right? But so don't feel like, oh, I have to make the Sifu's team. No, not necessary. Not necessary. You might not like the pressure. There's a lot of pressure to be on my team, right? Growth, sure, but a lot of pressure, right? That's how diamond is formed, under pressure. You can talk to anyone on Sifu's team, anyone, any role, they will tell you it's intense. You have no idea how intense it is. You cannot fathom. It makes HTC look like a fucking what was it? Catwalk. A walk in the park. It's nothing compared to what's on my team. This is like easy, casual. So secret number 5, become a well-rounded closer. Well-rounded closer. What I mean, think about martial art. If you are only a boxer, think about the Mayweather fight with Conor. How many have seen that? Imagine if Mayweather goes into with Conor, and not boxing, but actual in the UFC. How long do you think Mayweather will last? That Conor is allowed to kick, punch, wrestle, everything. Arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time, right? One of the best. He wouldn't last one round. Why? Because a boxer only has got the two hands, right? But when in the UFC, you can punch, you can kick, you can wrestle, you can ground fighting, you can do locks, you can do all kinds of stuff. That's what I mean by being a well-rounded closer. That in the beginning, and as a beginner, you're learning how to do inbound B2C, business to consumer closing. But you notice what business is doing at B2B, business to business, inbound, outbound. Also B2B, where if you are a marksman, you are a breacher, you're doing B2C, business to consumer, outbound closing. As a closer, the more skills, the more tools you have, the more well-rounded you are as a closer. So let me demonstrate. Let's talk about first contact call. This is HTC. How did you do outbound the HTC way? Almost all the salespeople out there doing outbound, they're doing it wrong. Okay, they are doing it wrong. So what's first contact call? So think about when you get a call from people, or someone try to quote unquote cold call you, right? Have you ever received a cold call before? What was that like? What was that like? How did they sound? Annoying, nasty, bad, right? Salesy, needy, yes, big, giant, green monster, right? So the first thing that most people get wrong is when they do cold call, they try to close that sale with a phone call. That's like the biggest mistake of all. Okay, so the first thing Steve is going to teach you is I'm going to teach you a little bit about outbound. Now, this wasn't part of what the 7-week HTC curriculum. So this is really a bonus. I want to give you a taste of what outbound is like. You could use it. You don't have to use it. But I want to give you a taste because that's what we train at a high level. But just to give you a taste of what it's like. Because I don't want you to think about, oh, HTC only do in. So from now on, if anyone says, oh, HTC, we only do inbound, please do me a favor, slap them on the face. Give a big like slap on the face, just like a lower self. It's not HTC only does inbound B2C. It's only what you have learned. It is like you learn karate, you go to the first few classes, and the sensei, the sifu teaches you how to punch, and you walk out, oh, karate only does punches. You're white belt, you're not there yet. There's spinning kick, there's fly kick, right? There's joint locks. There's a lot of things. Just because you haven't learned it doesn't mean it's not there. Can we agree on that? Just because you haven't learned it doesn't mean it's not there, we don't teach it. It's just you haven't learned it. So first thing you need to learn is replace the term cold calling with FCC first contact call. This is very profound because FCC itself, it is simply the first contact call. We are not trying to close the sale. So in HTC, we don't call that cold calling. It's first contact call. Do you see how that already changes the meaning of it? It's a big difference. So we don't do cold calling. Cold calling isn't closing. It is much more aligned with lead generation. We are doing the first contact call to generate a lead. We are not using FCC to make sales. How many times think about when you got those calls? Think about when you got those cold calls calling you to sell something. How many of them try to make the sell on the spot? Right? They try to, whatever it is they're pitching. They call you out of the blue. They're not asking questions. They just dump the garbage on you. Like, blah, here's the feature and benefit, right? They throw up the feature and benefit on you. They try to get every word in before you hang up. No, that is not the purpose of that call. So when you're doing outbound, understand that it takes more than one phone call to close them. So what we do is we use the phone, right? We use the first contact call as one, right? One of the methods to generate leads. Does that make sense? So just like the breacher or the marksman, when they're talking to the prospects, they are qualifying, and all they're trying to do is to set up the call for the sharpshooter. That is it. Period. So you see how this one little nugget right here, right now. So when in a business account, an influencer, oh, I'm looking for people to do cold call. I said, okay. So who's going to close the sale? Oh, no, the cold caller, that person will close the sale. I'm like, okay, immediately I know you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Amateur. Right? Thinking that one or two closers could do the breaching work, the marksman work, the striker work, and the sniper work. You don't get it. So I know that that business account needs some education. I need to show them that dog doesn't hunt. It doesn't work. Right? Now, it should be the first contact call. It should be a part of the overall strategy. If a business account comes to us and say, okay, we only do 100% of lead generation with like just cold calling, thanks, but no thanks. It means they don't understand at all. Now, if they're doing a lot of marketing, if they have other things going on, they want to add this, or they're already doing some of this as part of the strategy, is that okay? Absolutely. That's normal. For B2B, I mean, we have the whole business development team going out there doing outbound, going on LinkedIn all fucking day. That's okay. We drum up business, big business. We don't wait. We do our marketing on top of that. It's like, I want to have multiple, remember what he was talking about? You want to have multiple flow, right? You want multiple flows. So that's just another flow. And when you try to close that sale on one phone call with the first contact call, that's a lot of pressure on you. That's a lot of pressure on the prospect. Wouldn't you agree? So what we want to do is, you want to do your homework ahead of the time, okay? We generally speaking, use first contact call for bigger opportunities, right? We're talking about what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K and up, right? For bigger opportunities. And we know exactly who we're calling, or at the very least, the person's title or position. If you need to ask, may I speak to the owner of the business? You're doing it wrong. It means you don't know who the hell you're talking to. So it's a very sophisticated way of doing first contact call, not like pick up the yellow page and white page and like back in the days and you just pick up the phone and smile and dial, right? That's fucking from the movie. Forget that shit. Because most people nowadays, they have the do not call list, all of that. This is not from the movie. This is the real world. It's about doing your research. One of the best places in the world, if you are selling B2B, business to business, is what? LinkedIn. Talk to us about Sales Navigator, Joe.
All right, Sales Navigator, I think it's a great feature for, and not just people in sales, but I think everyone to use and utilize and learn. I think Desmond, on your B2B team, you guys use it quite frequently, right?
Everyone on the biz dev team uses Sales Navigator. So it helps us to, it's an investment. All of us, all the team members invest on our own, approximately $800 per year. So that's a very different level of performance, but it definitely connects us. So it allows us, I'll just put it this way. We get spammed all the time ourselves, right? But when you're communicating with a C-level executive, when you're trying to get to a decision maker in the B2B or SMB space, then, when you want to, the reason I was able to connect with many of the famous authors like Aaron Ross or Jeb Blount, Mark Roberge, is because I have Sales Navigator. And when you send an email through the InMail, they can actually see that you're a premium user. So they know that you're not just a spammer. They know that you're at least at a premium level. So they pay attention more to you. That's one of the benefits. The other thing is it actually links and integrates well with HubSpot. If you add an add-on, it also filters for you. So it helps sales professionals to filter who are the most likely candidates. There's so many different, it's almost like Facebook Ads Manager where you can target people using it. So it helps you to filter who are the people you want to do outreach and outbound to. And it also shows you all their contacts. So that's how I was able to connect with VPs of sales for Slack and many of the major companies. And we're just scratching the surface. There's several different trainings that we're actually going through ourselves to really maximize the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. But if you're serious about doing B2B work, you definitely need to engage in Sales LinkedIn Navigator.
And if you're thinking, oh, Sifu, I don't know about $800 a year to LinkedIn, if that it's outside the budget, it tells me that you're not quite ready to do this type of closing yet. Start with B2C. Nothing wrong with that. Most people start there, right? B2C, get some income coming in. Learn the skill set, sharpening the axe first before even think about going to B2B. Because you can see it requires, every level is another devil, right? It requires more business acumen. There's more money, but requires more skills. So LinkedIn and we could do a whole LinkedIn, like just LinkedIn alone. We could probably do a 4-week class just on LinkedIn. So we're not going to do that here. However, Sifu does have a gift for you. Who wants a gift? That we have put together. We've taken some of the best practices from your brothers and sisters who have successfully used LinkedIn to land some of these high ticket partners and influencers using LinkedIn, not spamming. And we put that together in a simple LinkedIn guide specifically designed for you for HTC. And yes, you are going to get that as a gift. You didn't expect that now, did you? So it will be my gift to you on how to use LinkedIn if you want to do that. More than that, here's another gift. We've done a training with the author of LinkedIn Unlocked. Melanie's a good friend of mine. And a while ago, we did training. Specifically, again, she came on and she did a special class just for us, for my HTC students, called Unlocking the Mystery of LinkedIn for More Sales. You would, that $1,000 value, you also get that as a bonus for being here, so that we don't have to spend time during the class. You could go and study those yourself.
Yes. And Sifu, by the way, please, everyone, do not spam Melanie. So Melanie is also one of our accounts. We also have several members. Shout out to Adam, who've actually invested themselves in upgrading and taking more of her courses. So, you know, she's actually trained some of our HTC students who are more serious in B2B space. You know, that's at your own, whatever you want to do, right? But don't spam her, because obviously she knows Sifu very well. She knows us very well. You know, our teams have worked with her. Our marketing teams have worked with her as well. So there's a lot of collaboration going on. Please, it would be bad taste if you send her a message, hi, do you need any closers? Or, hi, I'm Dan Locke's closers. And, you know, she gets a lot of those messages already, right? But she's very polite to us. She always lets us know. So please don't do that. And if that's happening to her, we wonder who else is getting it as well too. If you are going to contact someone, always out of courtesy and tact, the best thing to do is to always engage. If you are engaging them, just say, have you spoken to someone else in the HTC community? Have you spoken to someone in the closes.com community? Have you spoken to someone from Dan Locke's team? If they say yes, you want to tread lightly there. You want to be careful, because you don't want to go in there and embarrass yourself. Can we all agree to do that?
And they always let us know. So this is the rule. Don't be spamming people. Okay, don't be anybody. Hunter.
Hunter's a very, very good tool. So there are many apps out there. We just want to show you one. Okay, so don't think that Hunter's the only one, but it is another tool in the B2B space if you're looking at getting the email. So if you're doing outbound, one of the first things that you want to do is be able to try to get the person's email. And there are many tools out there that help you do it. Hunter is one of them that helps you to scrape the internet, and you're likely to find probably not, you don't want to go directly sometimes to the decision maker, but maybe to someone within a similar department or a different department. And then through that email, you're able to then, get the information of the decision maker, the person you're trying to contact. I'll give you an example. If I'm trying to contact the VP of sales, maybe through Hunter, I found the email of another person from a different department, and I email them, and we use a Columbo technique as well to even in the emails. Oh, I'm trying to get in touch with this person. Did I type the email incorrectly? And then they reply to me, and they actually sent me the email of the person I'm trying to reach. So then I use that person opened the door for me, helped me get in, and I'm able to get the actual person I'm trying to contact. So Hunter is one of the tools that can help you to get emails. Do your homework. Many of these tools, there's a freemium to it. You can use a little bit of it for free, but once again, don't be cheap. If you're trying to do business and you're trying to do a B2B deal, what's the cost of doing business? Maybe you might need to pay for some premium, of these services to get access to the higher level services.
Great. Joe, why don't you go through some of these strategies, and then we'll do a quick demonstration as well.
Yep. So when we talk about FCCs, especially on our team, the internal sales team, right? The biggest thing is exactly what Sifu said there. We don't want to sound like a typical salesperson, right? We learned that in HTC. So when we say, like what the Sifu teaches in class, right? Whatever people that do unsuccessfully, people that don't do it right, we do the exact opposite. We just go against the flow, against the grain, and just go completely 180. And the key here is actually when, be authentic, be bold, that's about the confidence, right, that you have. So this slide here, what not to say or do, these are just things that, a typical salesperson would do. And we've heard this a lot. Like, how many of you have gotten calls and actually had some of these comments, right? Had some of these opening lines where they say, hey, you know what? I'm just calling some people in your area, right? I'm just going through my records. Now, that's just so gross because it just shows you how much they don't really care about you, care about us, right? As a consumer, as a person, that you're just going through sort of an automated list of things, right? It's like, oh, you're just a name in my sheet. Like, how does it make you feel? You know what I mean? You're just a list, right? Exactly. I'm updating my database. I just want to reach out to you. And by the way, you and I have not spoken before. We're going to cover that later under the pattern interrupt slide. But that has more context, and it's also a very interesting way to open. This right here is like, again, it's about the tonality, about the authenticity, right? The boldness. If you sound, you and I have not spoken before, and if you sound just unconfident, it's just end of the call. Right? It just kills the entire thing. Okay, and then the next slide, what not to say or do. This is a big one, show and tell. And this is actually, interestingly enough, I think it comes from when we see, if you go to even cities like New York, right? You go to big cities, you see a lot of performers on the street when they, have you seen the show and tells? Maybe watch the YouTube videos, like these really impressive salespeople who sell things like knives or like blenders, right? In the street, right? They have a really impressive show and tell. Now, but when you translate that to a phone, it becomes off because there's no visuals to pull you in. There's not much even auditory audio to pull you in, and it's just awkward because it's just a pitch fest. They're just pitching to you on the phone. It's like, here's the features and benefits. Here's the features and benefits, right? So definitely don't want to do that. I'm not trying to sell you anything, right? We've got that before. How many of us have got that, right? That's an automatic sign of, yes, you want to pitch me something. You are here to tell me something that you want me to do, that you want to get me to do that, right? I'm not trying to say anything, but you know what, you want to.
Joel, and the way it would sound, right? It's like, I'm John. I'm with ABC Company. Are you familiar with this? Or it's like, hi, hey, look, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Or the next one is, hi there. Excuse me. Do you have a few minutes to talk? You're talking to a salesperson as soon as they start saying that to you. So what happens to us? We shut off, right? Most of us, automatic mechanism, we shut off.
We hang up, or you say, nope, no, thank you. No, not today.
So that's not the HTC way, right? It's the cold calling way. And you can see immediately if someone calls you like that, I mean, that's you automatically, you want to hang up. You don't want to listen. You don't want to waste any time, right? Stop telling people who you are in the beginning. No one gives a shit. No one cares. That's a big no-no. That's a very, very big no-no. So don't tell people who you are and what company and products. Nobody gives a shit. They don't care. Oh, I'm with so-and-so company. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So we don't have, again, this is way beyond than what we cover in the basic HTC course. What Steve is going to teach you is just to give you one technique, one simple technique that you can use if you are doing first contact call that's extremely effective. I've used it over the years, and you won't believe how effective it is because it's so counterintuitive. Are you ready? Are you ready?
And Sifu, before you even go into that one technique, just so you guys know, like, you heard me earlier on when I did the role play, and we talk about a lot of the closer who are the closer ready. Many of them have gone on for more advanced training, and it takes time. It takes a lot of role plays, and we do cover more advanced techniques. But once again, that takes several different lessons. So we will give that to you in due time. But for now, Sifu's going to give you one technique that's going to show you it's going to blow your mind. Okay, so go ahead, Sifu.
It's called the Colombo technique. And here's what it sounds like. Actually, Desmond, why don't you do it? You do a good job.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, this is Dan.
Oh, hey Dan. I'm I'm so sorry. My boss, I think, left your name and phone number on my desk.
Okay.
And I just came back from lunch, and he just told me to give you a call. So
All
I
right.
feel kind of embarrassed. I'm not really sure what this is for. Do you happen to know anything about this?
I don't know who's your boss.
He's Dan Locke from closes.com.
Okay. Oh, we and I have the same name. Okay, from closes.com. What's this about?
Well, closes.com, you didn't fill up any form or anything like that, right? Your company is maybe not needing some sort of remote sales team or anything like that?
Remote. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Pause. Off the role play. So what the Colombo technique is designed to do, instead of interrupting, it is designed to, you're basically acting ignorant. Remember, we want to be a psychiatrist to read people's mind. We also we're getting back to people. I'm getting back to you versus, hey, this is ABC company. You don't know us, but here's what we're going to do. No, I'm not trying to sell you anything. No. It is so effective. You have no idea how effective this is. And they would be confused. They would be totally confused. And from there, you already have to, again, we're not trying to close on that first call. We're not trying to do that, right? It could be as simple as, so I'll play, Desmond, I'll call you.
Okay. Yep.
I sell web design service. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Is this Desmond?
Yeah. Desmond speaking. Who's speaking?
Oh, hey, Desmond. Hey, my name is Dan Locke. I'm so embarrassed. I don't even know why I'm giving you a call. I just got a note here, a postal note from my assistant to have your phone number and your first name.
Oh.
I know this sounds so weird, but I don't even know why I'm calling you. Could you help me out here?
Which company are you calling from?
I'm calling from ABC Web Design.
Oh,
does this have anything to do with like web design or getting more traffic or anything like that? I mean, you wouldn't be interested in anything like that, would you?
I think I might have filled in some forms maybe a couple of weeks ago, online, but
oh, okay. Why did you do that?
Well, just curious. We want to upgrade our websites and stuff like that. So, we haven't done it in a while. I've been putting it off. And yeah, is that what you guys do? You guys do web designs?
Yeah, some of it, but I'm not expecting like this kind of call. I actually need to jump on a call in about 5-10 minutes. Why don't we set up a time so we can do a little bit more in depth? Take a look at the website and see if we could help you or not. Maybe not. But
I guess
we can go from there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because you kind of caught me off guard, but it's that's a better idea. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions, and also, if you can help me out, then I'd love to find out more about what you guys do.
Yeah. So why don't we set with tomorrow? Let me take a look at schedule here. Would tomorrow 1 p.m. work for you?
I got something at 1 p.m. Can you do 2 p.m.?
I might have to move the thing. Yeah, I can make it work.
Okay.
Yeah,
what was your name again?
Yeah, my name is Dan.
Dan. Okay, Dan. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 p.m. I don't think we need more than 45 minutes. I'll keep it within 45 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll take a look at the website. And when we jump on the call, I would actually, Desmond, what's the best email to reach you?
Send it to Desmond at tubeyonhorn.com.
Okay, Desmond at tubeyonhorn.com. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get you send you a report that will give you an overview of your website, no charge. You can take a look. And so when we jump on the call at 2 p.m., then we'll actually go through some of these things. You can see where your traffic is coming from and how we can actually, if you want to we do your website, we want to make sure we do it right. Make sense?
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that'd be perfect. I didn't expect that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll talk to you tomorrow, 2 p.m. then. Same number?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'll talk to you then. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Off the role play. Short 3, 4, 5 minute qualify. That's it. Does that sound like a cold call to you? No. And then if you say I'm not interested, move on. 2 or 3 minutes. It's okay. Next, I'm calling the next person. A typical business person talked to so many people, left so many messages, they fill out so many forms, they don't fucking remember. They do not remember. So you're like, yeah, I think I did. I think your company sounds familiar. It does. That's a Colombo technique. Is that powerful? Is that different? And you can use that in an email as well. And Desmond just did. You modify slightly. You contact this person and you say, well, I'm not sure. What did you write in an email, Desmond, if you were to use the Colombo technique in an email?
In the Colombo technique in the email would be, so for example, I got Sue at abc.com, right? I'll type to Sue. Sue, this is Desmond here. Sue, this is Desmond here. I'm not sure if I got one of the emails bounced that I've been trying to reach, that we are supposed to be setting up an appointment. Could you point me in the right direction or forward the email on to the individual that's taking care of this department, right? And so what will happen is
VP of marketing, VP of
VP
sales,
of marketing, that's right.
Whatever it might be.
Or I'm writing and say, hey, Sue, can I confirm that John is still the VP of sales, for this department here? The email that I have is this one here. Is this the correct email that I should be sending to?
So then when Sue sometimes would give you the email of the right person, or sometimes she would actually email on your behalf and CC you. So now correct. You are kind of going through the third door, right?
Yep.
Where it's now a endorsement, a referral, recommendation from one of the colleagues.
And I've oversimplified that. Obviously, there's something else as well too. We want to compliment. So Sue, sorry to trouble you. I know that this is not your right department, but I got a bounced email. Wondering if you could forward my emails on. It's quite important that I get in touch with the VP of Sales. I'm wondering, is it still John, or has he changed and moved on to another position? Many times, because you start off with the compliment, you apologize. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I know that this is not your department. But I need to get in touch, So many times there'll be people that will be kind enough to transfer, and there are companies that also have some strict rules. They'll say no. They'll just come back and say, no, sorry, company policy, we can't do that, right? Unless you know the specific name of the person. Okay, fair enough. Thanks so much for your time. Sorry to trouble you. But maybe like 8 out of 10, you might get that. 2 out of 10, you'll get through to the right person. They'll forward it on, and if they do, I always say thank you to them. I always say, hey, is there anything else I can do to help you out? With your work. Don't ever hesitate to let me know as well too. So somebody who helps open that door for you, make sure you also thank them.
That's correct. And the Colombo technique, by the way, is just one of the many of the first contact call technique. I'm simply teaching you one to give you an idea, so you know what that is like. More so that again, when people say HTC is only inbound B2C, please give them that slap. Okay, they don't understand. It's way more than that. Just we didn't cover it in the basic, very basic HTC program. Secret number 6: you have a gold mine in your own backyard that you may not even realize. One of the best ways to find influencers are there experts, trainers, speakers, business owners you have done business from in the past. Right? You've done business with them. You've attended their events. You bought their courses, services, products. You met with them in person. Your friends might know somebody. Who do you think might have access to them? Do they have a high ticket offers? Do they meet those criteria? Those are great closing opportunities. Why? Because it is easy. You're already familiar with the audience because you've bought something from them, right? When you are their customers already, they're much more likely to listen to you versus trying to spam someone who's like cold, right? Contact them on social media, follow them.